Everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that are coming out, well, in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But this is the show where we show you some books that are up for pre-order by this weekend, so you don't miss out on them when they do come out in a few weeks, because we hate when people can't get their hands on some of the comics they want to read.
Yep.
Your best way to secure you getting those books is by pre-ordering. And you can do that over at infinityflux.net right now, where these books are up there, plus many more that we're not even going over. So head on over there and get to pre-ordering. But let's talk about some of the big books this week. It's a very interesting week. I feel like a lot of the companies are gearing up for summer, for kind of post-free comic book day books, all of that.
Yeah.
So it's a little light on the number ones from DC and Marvel, but thankfully we've got some really cool other ones to show you. Starting with our featured comics.
We're going to start with Geiger #1. So this is the beginning of a new ongoing Geiger series. Of course, we had the Geiger miniseries 2-3 years back. It was really good, and now this is giving us more Geiger. Not really sure if the other one counts because of how it ended, and then now we've gotten more Geiger. Not really sure.
We'll probably see once we first couple of pages.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll learn.
Yeah, but so this is written by Jeff Johns, art by Gary Frank, and in this one, it feels very familiar. It feels like the Geiger that we read before, but new stories. And this one, Geiger has left his home, and he's sort of wandering the roads of the former United States with his two-headed wolf, Barney. He discovers salvation from the unlikeliest of foes, but what secrets do they hold that could help him? So, new ongoing Geiger, the start of the Ghost Machine imprint, the start of the Geiger, or the Unnamed Universe, which features Geiger and a couple other books we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, if you like the first mini-series, then definitely don't miss this start of a new ongoing series.
That was my biggest thing with the miniseries, was it was a miniseries.
Yeah.
You know, they introduced Las Vegas and they had all the different kingdoms. I was like, I want to see all of these.
Yeah.
But we're only focusing on one for this. It's like, good. I want to see this whole world.
Yeah.
That they've teased, but we haven't seen too much of.
Yeah, they introduce a whole bunch of characters in a big world in such a small physical location, and it seemed like there was a lot more story for them to tell than they could fit in just that miniseries. So now, hopefully, like you said, we'll get to see all of that. I love this being an
ongoing, because I want to see just issue by issue what happens in this.
So this is our A cover by Gary Frank, and then we have an Ivan Rice and Danny Miki variant as well. And this is a connecting variant, right?
Yeah, with the next couple of books we're talking about. Because next up we have Redcoat #1. This is, once again, by Jeff Johns, this time with art by Brian Hitch. This is a character that we got introduced to. I believe he wasn't in Geiger, he was in the...
It was like the Geiger 80-page special or something like that, yeah.
But we just got a little sampling of him, but his name is Simon. He is a British redcoat, but more of a scoundrel type character. He is back in 1776. He gained immortality. We don't quite know everything about that. We've seen kind of hints and everything about his time frame and all of that.
Yeah, because that one book was the only Redcoat story that we've ever had. So we saw a lot in that for such a short story, but there's a lot of questions. Like, we got no answers about who or how or why to anything, and hopefully this will give it to us.
Yeah, so because he got immortality when he ran into the Founding Fathers, which is a, we know that term, but it's a group in this world made up of, like, George Washington and John Hancock, and we even saw I want to say just like a panel or whatever in that the Ghost Machine one-shot, where we saw George Washington with, like, a glowing sword and stuff. It's like there's some magic and some other stuff going on here. I'm sure that plays into Redcoat's backstory, but we're gonna follow him as he goes. The people he runs into. Now that he's immortal, he's just kind of bumming around, getting into trouble. He should be really rich because he's immortal and he gets all that wealth, but he ends up blowing it. So he's still kind of a roguish character. He's going to be running into people like Einstein and Annie Oakley and all these people. I feel like we're going to follow him through a very wide, long time frame where he beats all these people and maybe it all connects somehow.
It kind of makes me think of the Highlander TV series, if you
Uh-huh.
ever watched that, because most of it took place in present day or in the 90s when it was on, but it always flashed back to a certain period in time, and you got to see Duncan in all these different periods throughout the hundreds of years he had been alive. So maybe something like
Yeah, I
that.
think and I think that's probably what it's going to be like. And we're just going to find out how Simon and his immortality and his influence being around for so long has shaped the history of America and the world. And he's kind of on his quest to find out, what is his purpose with these powers and everything. And I think we even saw him at one point in the Geiger time, like in the future.
Oh, we did? I don't
Yeah,
remember
it was
that.
like a post-apocalyptic bar that he was at
Oh,
and
okay,
stuff.
okay.
So, yeah, I'm very excited about this one. I love the history side of it. Plus, it just sounds like a lot of fun with a scoundrel-like character.
Yeah, it is funny seeing George Washington and all the revolutionaries doing magic or
Yeah,
something.
very
It's
so
so,
comic booky.
yeah, so weird but so cool.
So this is our A cover by Brian Hitch, who is our interior artist, and we also have an Ivan Rice connecting
Yeah.
variant, which you see some of the other characters that are going to be popping up. There's the what's the soldier, um,
Oh, I don't remember. The Northerner.
the
Yeah.
Northerner. We've got the Rockefellers
Yeah.
back
I
there.
really like them.
So it's cool to see some of this stuff in the background as well.
Yeah. All right, so next is Rook Exodus #1. Now, this is part of the Ghost Machine imprint, just like the other two we talked about, but this is not part of the Geiger universe, so this is completely separate from all those other books. This was my favorite one in that Ghost Machine sample book that came out a
Yeah.
couple months back. This was my favorite story in there. So this is also written by Jeff Johns, but the art is by Jason Fabok. And this is really cool because the guy you see on the cover there, his name is Rook. He used to be a farmer on Earth, but the Earth is kind of crumbling, and so he just like a lot of people left for this terraformed planet called Exodus, and everything on Exodus, the weather, the wildlife, the environment, all that stuff is controlled by these people called wardens. But then when the world engine that was keeping all of that running on Exodus, that thing failed. So all of the people who could afford it, they left the planet because it was sort of becoming a wasteland or whatever. And the people who couldn't afford it were sort of left there to just fight for survival.
It
And
almost sounded like the ones that left were like, we're gonna go fix this, and then they just never heard from them again. They
yeah,
kind of just abandoned ship.
right. So this is really cool. So this, reading that one story in that book from a couple months ago, it has a feeling of maybe Mad Max,
Uh-huh.
a little bit post-apocalyptic. The vehicles look very Mad Maxian, I guess, but it's not like a desert wasteland. Like there's still lush forests and all this stuff. There's still lots of wildlife, and one of the hooks to this book is that characters like Rook, these wardens, they have these helmets that can control animals. So Rook can control certain birds. There was another guy.
What's the pig guy?
Yeah, I think is that him in the no, I don't know if that's him in the background, but yeah, there's a guy who can control like pigs and boars and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and his helmet kind of looks like a boar. And the other, I can't remember the other character's
the
name.
wolf.
Yeah, but she can control dire wolf, I think is her
Yeah,
name.
something like
She
that.
can control wolves, and then there's
We saw a sample page of all the other helmets that do different
yeah.
stuff, and it was really
It
cool.
looked really cool. It sort of reminds me of Mask from the 1980s, which I absolutely love. So yeah, just really really cool. Post-apocalyptic feeling, but with animals and special helmets and controlling animals and the environment, all kinds of stuff. It sounds really really fun. Gunplay, cool vehicles, that kind of thing. Yeah, so I'm really excited for this one. This was my favorite one in that book. So this is our A cover by Jason Fabok, and then we have our other connecting variant by Ivan Rice and Danny Mickey. Now this, again, this isn't part of the Geiger universe, but this is still connecting in with the Ghost Machine imprint, and some of these others aren't part of the Geiger universe either. Um, like the other cover had the Rockefellers, they're not
Yeah,
part of that, but it is all part of the Ghost Machine imprint.
and there's Junkyard Joe right
Yeah,
there on the
give
on
me
the.
more of him, please. Hope that's
Yeah,
one of the next
I
ones.
think these are going to be really big. I just feel like Jeff Johns has got the experience with his time at DC and everything, kind
Yeah.
of knowing how do you build these worlds. how does these companies run, all of that kind of thing.
Well, plus
So
the creative teams.
the creative teams are
Jeff Johns
amazing.
and Gary Frank and Jason Fabok and Francis Manapul, Brian Hitch. Like it's an all every single one of these books in the Ghost Machine imprint is an all-star lineup of creators.
Yep.
So
And so many good things to jump in on. Something new to check out.
Yeah.
So yeah, no excuses.
yeah, and I don't know. I'm just really really excited for this one. I love that story.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have Ultimate X-Men #2. We just got Ultimate X-Men #1 this week. Hopefully everybody got a chance to check it out. Not a whole lot of like spoilers for the first issue,
Right.
but it is continue on in this one where we catch back up with Hisako, who is, or we know from at least the 616 universe to be Armor. We saw her get this little pendant in the first issue that looks like it gives her that armor power. Now, how this is related to mutants, we're not quite sure. But in this one, she is now. We saw her graduating from, I guess, middle school.
Middle school, yeah.
In the first one, she is going into high school. In this next one, where she meets a white-haired punk girl named May, aka May Storm. That's who you're seeing on the cover. So she's been teased a lot, even on the covers from #1. But this is going to be her first full appearance in the comic in this one. And they are going to team up to find the identity of this creepy shadow man that sounds like is kind of terrorizing both of them.
Yeah.
We saw Hisako in the first one, what it's doing to her, but it sounds like Maystorm has also interacted with this thing that I can only imagine what it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're going to be teaming up and maybe start forming, I don't know, maybe a little X-Men team or something.
Who knows?
Very interesting, very unique take on the whole X-Men universe. If you're in the first one, you will definitely know if you will want to continue with this, if you like the tone and the flavor of it all. But very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
And something cool about May Storm too. I don't remember if it was in the solicitation for this or the next issue or just something else, but I did read something that said May Storm, who does I think have the ability to control weather,
Okay.
at least to a degree. It said that she is inspired by a freedom fighter that she read about in Africa.
Oh.
Which so there's some kind of connection there between her and Storm, who we saw in Ultimate Black Panther #1, who we'll see probably more of in #2 coming out next week. So yeah, there's a little something there that'll develop
That's very
over time.
cool. And
Yeah.
that makes sense of like, why is there two characters that are very similar?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm excited to find out more about that.
Yeah.
So this is our A cover by Peach Momoko. We also have this Betsy Cola Ultimate Special variant. I want to see more of her armor in action.
Yeah.
Because it seems kind of fun and
It seems different than it seems almost like like you said the other day, like a sentient being.
Yeah.
Instead of just armor that she puts around herself that she
It's
controls.
not just a force shield. It's got some character to it. I like this one. This is the Mike Choi variant. And then we have another Peach Momoko variant.
Oh, this is sorry, this making notes. This is Spectregraph #1. This is going to be a 4-issue series. This is the next book from Distillery. This is going to be written by James Tynan. The art is by Christian Ward. It's described as a ghost story steeped in the decay of a century of capitalism. So it's about this guy. He's described as a titan of industry, this super rich millionaire, billionaire, and he's been living in a mansion just north of LA by himself for years. And he has a strange fascination with the occult and the paranormal. And for the longest time, all the richest men and women in the country, they have wondered, what is he doing all by himself, alone in that big mansion? Well, then he passes away, and they may finally get their chance to figure out just what he was doing all by himself, alone in that big mansion. So, if he's got a fascination with the occult and the paranormal, this is written by James Tynan. There's no telling what it's going to lead to, but we just like to let you know about the new Distillery books. Now, every time we talked about a Distillery book too, I've always said that get them now because they'll be available digitally at some point, but they're not going to do reprints or collected editions. But I think I was wrong. I think there are some trade paperbacks solicited for some of these, and I guess maybe all of them. I'm not too sure. I would still recommend. I thought they said they weren't going to do that when they first
Yeah.
announced this, so I would still recommend getting these as they come out, just in case if you want. But yeah, so a new James Tynion book is always a good thing. So this is our A cover right here. We have a Martin Simmons cover, and then there is a Jenny Frison variant as well.
I like the Jenny Frison.
Yeah.
It has a lot of personality.
Hmm.
Okay, next up we have a new book called Principles of Necromancy, and this is from a new publisher, Magma Comics, which I'm very excited about. Always love a new, what does a new publisher bring to the game
Yeah.
of comics and everything? I know personally the kind of the editor in chief, the head that started this, great guy, and I can't wait to see what all comes from this. But their first book is this one, and it sounds really cool. There's some preview pages out for this. I even skimmed through. We got an early sampler of like the whole thing. Super cool. So this is a world where knights and monsters wage endless bloody wars. So it feels like your typical fantasy, dark
Yeah.
fantasy universe. But there's a character called Doctor Eyes who is a traveling physician who weaves arcane remedies that are this world's closest thing to magic. And it's like, okay, so I'm not quite sure what those look like. Really, what it is from looking at it, he's just kind of a Frankenstein sewing people together. This is body horror
Okay.
at its finest. And even what Dr. I looks like, I saw him in one of the pages. He's also very, very creepy looking. So,
I is an EYEI?
yeah.
Dr. I? Okay.
And he might have giant eyes.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but what is his ultimate goal?
Is he just an anime character? He just got like big eyes?
Yeah. Uh, his ultimate goal is to overcome death itself. So it's like he's acting like he's doing good, but maybe he's doing some experimenting. I think that's him at the very top. He's got like this pointed head
Okay.
and very creepy. So if you like that creepy body horror set in like a medieval, very uh, uh like plague doctor
Yeah.
feeling, time frame, all of that, you'll definitely want to try this out. So,
And written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. So
yes,
like
I was
those
about to
guys
say
are,
that.
yeah.
Was some of the most prolific writers
Yeah.
in all of comics right
Yeah. Those guys
now.
are great.
So definitely check this one out. We've got a couple of covers for this. So this is the A cover. This is the Winkle cover. And then we also have, this is the Heidensdorf variant.
So this is AKOGUN, Brutalizer of Gods. This is a new series from Oni. This is written by Marewa Aodel, and the art is by Dotun Akande. And I'm gonna have to rely on notes on this one a little bit because there was a lot of information about this. So this is a new tale of African dark fantasy on the ancient continent of Alkebulan. In the tradition, and it says it's in the tradition of Robert E. Howard's Conan, or Stanley and Jack Kirby's Thor, or the God of War games, like just like sort of mythical mythology, a lot of that kind of stuff. This is in an age when man, monster, and the divine all inhabit the earth. There's a lone warrior named Akugun the Brutalizer emerges to test the immortality of the cruel gods. He's a one-man reckoning that stands in defiance of his divine masters with a sword in hand and a thirst for god blood. So that sounds really cool. That
Yeah.
sounds right
It's
up.
very Kratos-like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, very like I said, very Conan, very Kratos, God of War sounding. But this time maybe steeped a little bit in African dark fantasy, like I said. So it sounds really cool. And this I don't know this. Oh, this is a 3-issue miniseries.
There's even there's a trailer for this.
Oh, really?
That I
Okay.
checked out. That's got some kind of motion comic
Yeah.
look to it, and you've got some giant monsters that he's taken down, and
Nice.
there's kind of this very like kind of cruel drunken god that
Okay.
comes in that he kind of calls out, and
Huh.
it's really really cool.
Nice. So this is our A cover right here. We also have a, Villa Lobos variant, and then there is a Gray Williamson variant as well.
It's very Conan,
Yeah.
Robert E. Howard
Yeah.
feeling. Okay, next up we have other number ones. There is more number ones coming this week, and we're starting with Hack Slash Kill Your Idols one shot. This is actually a collection of some of these stories that were in the Image 30th anniversary series they did for about a year.
Yeah.
But this is really fun because it's your team from Hack Slash with Cassie Hack and her slasher best friend, traveling partner Vlad. And usually they're just hunting your run of the mill 80s slasher monster guys. But this time, one of their missions leads them to what seems to be a lot more of the Image Universe characters, some very classic ones we see there with like Super Patriot and Shadowhawk. And was it
Is that Bloodstrike?
Bloodstrike? I think. He had a lot of looks.
Yeah.
He had mask on, mask
Yeah.
off. But all of these, you're gonna have to team up to face off against some evilness in the Image universe. So I just think this sounds really cool. I love, especially bringing back classic ones like Shadowhawk. It sounds like, when's the last time that he had a big role in something?
Yeah. The last one was that a couple of years ago. There was that Shadowhawk finale. It was a one shot. It was supposed to be like the end of his story. That was neat.
Not the end. He's back.
He's back.
And I love Super Patriot from Savage Dragon and all of that. So we've got your A cover right here. And then we also have, this is the Steve Kurth variant.
Next is Pooh versus Bambi, number 1. This is going to be a 3-issue miniseries. This is from Zenescope. This is written by Dave Franchini and David Wall, and the art is by Jordi Tarragona. And I want to read the solicitation because it just sounds so like
they did it perfect in the solicitation.
Yeah, like you can like set like with the trailer guy's voice. You know, it's like abandoned by his country, betrayed by those he once called family, and hunted by those who want nothing more than to keep him as a trophy. Pooh is on. Winnie the Pooh. Pooh is on a mission, and no amount of honey will sate his thirst for revenge. And so this is a this is only part of the cover. The other half of this is Bambi, but like a cyborg Bambi with like the upper part of his head like all cyborged out, glowing red eyes and all that stuff. This sounds like a bizarre, fun time.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, Pooh is now in the public domain and people are really having fun with it. So this sounds like a lot of fun too. So this is our B cover.
The A cover is still not ready.
That's right. There is a C cover by Abundanza.
I'm not sure if that's Pooh or maybe Piglet.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see that before, and then I looked up. I was like, wait a minute, I don't think that's And then there's a Sonia Matas variant as well. I don't think.
And I believe that's Tigger.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, well, yeah, it is Zenescope. They do like to do these kinds of covers. Yeah.
There is also the I think the next issue talks about that Pooh teams up with Tigger. In the 100 Acre
I really want Tigger to be like just like this feral tiger, you know,
like Battle Beast from Invincible. Okay, we've got a new Red Sonja miniseries coming up, and this sounds really cool. This is Red Sonja Empire of the Damned #1, but this is written by Steve Niles, your 30 Days of Night writer, and the art is by Alessandro Amoruso. And in this, I love this because Conan always gets a little like Lovecraftian, a little like creepy, and this feels like it's going that with Red Sonja. So after a night of drunken revelry, Sonja finds herself in a jail where she hears an outlandish story from a fellow inmate who says there's deep in the mountains there lies a dead city in a valley with a forgotten name. Its fields are littered with bones of 2 armies, all destroyed by a warlock's curse. And then the warlock vanished, leaving behind his vast treasure. So, of course, this piques Sonja's interest. She's always into the treasure. And turns out this inmate also has a map to it. So
totally convenient.
Very convenient. But first, they're going to have to get out of this jail, which I believe the first issue is probably going to be about, is her getting out and then going on this adventure. But with Steve Niles, who tends to do some more creepy kind of stuff, I think this sounds really cool. You can see even kind of a horror aspect to this cover. So I think this sounds really cool. I like Red Sonja, so check this one out. We've got our A cover here. We've got a Linzer cover and a John Tyler Christopher cover. And next up, we got notable 2s and 3s continuations of series. This is where we're going to see a lot more of the DC stuff that just started. This is where all of that kind of fell. So continuing on.
This is What If Aliens #2. So number 1 just came out this week. It was pretty good. What if Carter Burke lived? Spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie. He died in Aliens. But this one is What if he didn't die? What if he lived? But because he lived, the tragedy at Hadley's Hope, where like 158 people died in the movie, it all got pinned on him. So everybody in existence hates him pretty much. He's living a pretty, even though he did live in this story, his life is pretty miserable. His only remaining purpose in life is to take care of his daughter, who also hates him because she thinks he's responsible for what happened at Hadley's Hope. And her hate for him is only going to grow when she finds out what he's up to. And if you read the first issue and you saw that last page, you know it's something that's not super great and it is going to lead to nothing good. Nothing good is going to come of it.
So this is it's not each issue is a different what if. This is a continuing
This is a continuing story. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So we have our A cover right here. We have a David Lopez variant. Oh, that's weird. And then there's a Perillo variant as well.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we got Edge of the Spider-Verse #3. This one sounds really cool because it's introducing a new spider person. This is Star Spider. And she is slinging through the stars in her silk ship, helping those in need in the galaxy. What I also like about these is when we get a new spider person, I want to see what the villains are in this one. I want to see Space Goblin and Space Rhino.
Yeah.
Craven the Space Bounty Hunter. All that.
That's just Lobo.
Yeah, right? Just Lobo. But sounds really cool, especially with new character with a really cool costume. Plus, this also has the return of Webweaver in the backup story. So I think this sounds really cool and really fun. We've got this A cover right here. We also have a Peach Momoko variant, a Pete Woods homage variant.
I like that one.
Yeah. And this really nice Tony Daniel character.
That one's really nice too.
That's really nice.
Yeah. And then next is Symbiote Spider-Man 2099 #2. The first issue comes out next week, so we'll be talking about it on Monday. But in this one, Miguel O'Hara he's having to take on Venom 2099, and in order to do that, he'll have no choice but to power himself up with his own symbiote, which you can see there on the cover. I'm pretty sure that's him.
An octopus on his chest.
Yeah, so the symbiote is going to give him the power he needs to take on Venom 2099, but what will the symbiote need from him in return? You'll have to read to find out, but it should be pretty cool. Like we said, this series starts next week, so we'll talk about that on Monday. We have our A cover right here. There is a Kokolo Stormbreakers variant. I like this one a lot. So is that Spider-Punk with a symbiote? That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, there is that character. No, that's a new character that was in Edge of the Venomverse, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure who this is, but and then there's a Philip Tan variant as well, with the two symbiote 2099 people fighting.
Okay, next up we got Miss Marvel Mutant Menace #2. #1 came out this week. I really liked it. Great continuation of Kamala Khan's time as a mutant. And in this one, with her attracting a lot of attention, good or bad, it gets the attention of the mutant world's media mogul, Mojo, which I always love Mojo popping up and stuff. Hopefully we get a long shot.
I was gonna say the same thing. Give me some long shot in there too. Yeah.
Just continues to be a really fun series, and I like how crazy of places it's going. She's getting the full X-Men experience. Seeing all the crazier sides of it. I think was it the next issue she fights zombie X-Men.
Okay.
And the cover is her fighting a zombie Cyclops. So
nice.
Cool. So this is our A cover, and then we have a Peach Momoko variant.
Next is X-Men 97 #2. The first issue doesn't come out for another couple weeks to be more in line with the animated series. It also comes out in a couple weeks, so really excited about that. But this is the second issue of that series, and you can see on the cover right there, Sabretooth strikes. He's gonna fight Wolverine. And Scott and Jean prepare to embark on a bold new adventure. And if you saw the trailer for the animated series, looks like they might be having a baby. And but while they're doing that, a sinister foe makes his move from the shadows. So I'm not sure who that's going to be, but I guess we'll find out in this. So this is our A cover right here. We have a David Mack, Jean Grey variant,
It's
and
really
then
nice.
and then there's a Nick Dragotta variant as well. I like that one.
I just love seeing all their classic
Yeah.
costumes. It's just all the colors working together.
Mm-hmm.
Screams X-Men.
Yep.
Okay, next up we have Weapon X-Men #2. #1 came out this week. Phoenix puts together a team of the most unlikely Wolverines possible. But in this one, the Wolverines track Onslaught, that's their job in this, is to find Onslaught to a world unlike any other, one where Wolverine finally got what he wanted. And if you see that picture that Earth X Wolverine standing on, you maybe see what that perfect thing that Wolverine gets is. So if you're enjoying it, continue on with issue #2. This is our A cover. And then we also have this Jan Bazaldua variant.
Next is The Batman First Night #2. #1 came out this week, telling the tale of a Batman early in his career, but set in 1939, a real world, more or less, 1939. So that's right there is really cool. It's a black label book, oversized, so it doesn't have, it's free of any continuity. And in this one, the body count in Gotham is continuing to rise. We saw that in the first issue, there was a lot of city councilmen are getting murdered by these two big hulking brute guys, but we don't know who they're working for yet. Commissioner in this one, Commissioner Gordon and Batman are the only ones brave enough to sort of infiltrate the criminal underworld to try to solve this case. But after a near-death brawl with those two brutes that we saw in the first issue, Batman questions whether he's strong enough to save Gotham. So this is a 3-issue series. This is the second one. So just if you like the first one, don't miss this one. We have our A cover by Mike Perkins. We have a Sebastian Fumara variant, and then there is a a Mark Aspinall pulp novel variant. We had one of those for the first one too that looked really cool.
I want this as a pulp novel now.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Blasphemous #2. So the book by Distillery, Mirka and Dolfo.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's 3 issues also. I think most of these are around 3 issues.
Yeah, 3 or 4, because the one we talked about earlier was 4. Okay, so somewhere in there.
But they're well spread out too. So we are getting #2 here, where a new rival steals Clelia's, the hardest time saying her name, Clelia's spotlight, and leaves her career hanging by a thread. So if you enjoyed the first one, don't miss out, because I know sometimes when they're not right back to back, it's hard to remember. So pre-order those now. We've got this A cover right here and a Andolfo B cover.
This is the One Hand #3. This is the series where you got the one on the one hand. No, you got the one hand, and then you also have the 6 fingers running parallel with each other, all centered around a bunch. Yeah,
they're running parallel with each other.
Just all centered around some grisly murders. And in this one, Detective Ari Nasser, while he's investigating this murder, he starts to see all kinds of connections everywhere. So he goes to question his prior arrests, some of the people that he's put away in the past. And there's a man named Odell Watts who he put away years ago for the exact same type of crime that he's investigating now. That guy may be the only one who can help Detective Nasser sort of figure out what's going on. So do not miss this if you're buying both books. Here is the next installment. We have this A cover right here, and then there's a B cover by Sumit Kumar and Lee Loffridge.
And then next up, we have cool covers. So some really cool covers I want to show you. Starting off with, no, this is not a new West Coast Avengers. This is for Amazing Spider-Man #47. Of course, these are the Disney homage covers they've been doing. This one of West Coast Avengers #1. And in this issue, it makes a point to say it takes place after Web of Spider-Man. So something's happening in that. It sounds like Chasm is getting out, and Spider-Man's going to have to find him. So this is our the Disney. I forgot what they're technically called.
The Disney What If variant.
Yeah, Disney What If, and we also have a Peach Momoko.
And then don't forget that if you that Web of Spider-Man issue that they're talking about, that's that one shot that's kind of like timeless, but for Spider-Man, it's going to give us a glimpse into some upcoming stories over the next year. I don't remember when that comes out. I'm not sure if it's before that or not, but
I believe it is.
Okay, I'm excited about that one. This is fantastic. Okay, this sounds cool. This is fantastic for number 19. And we want to talk about this. The solicitation for this sounds really cool. If you've been reading the series, you know that almost every issue is its own story. There's been a couple 1, 2, 3 parters, but most every issue, just like a cool little one and done, very different from your typical Fantastic Four story. And the solicitation for this is completely written like an old school crime noir, black and white movie. You know, it was raining one night when a dame with legs up to her neck walked in and needed help finding her boyfriend. And it sounds like Sue may be hiring Ben Grimm, who I guess is a PI in this story, find her boyfriend, Reed Richards, because he's gone missing. But it sounds, I don't know if this is going to be like a dream or I don't know what. But
you never know with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
where
especially
they
this series.
themselves.
But it's the way it was written out anyway, sounds like a very crime noir, old school, like black and white 1930s detective story or something. So I'm down for that. And this is actually the A cover by Alex Ross, but this one is just so cool. This one evokes the feeling of what this story sounds like it's going to be.
Next up, we've got a couple of Star Wars. This is Darth Vader number 45. I want to show off these are their Master and Apprentice variants that they're doing by Kamikoli. And this one is big because this is the first comic appearance of Balin Skull and Shin Hati.
Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
I know.
Golly.
I mean, amazing job in Ahsoka. Just when you want to see more, he's gone. But immortalize him forever here on this cover. Their first appearance on this cover. We also have this really cool Rod Rice variant. They've been doing these with like characters and the lightsabers.
Yeah.
There was one with Luke. Then we also have the Wingard Rebels 10th anniversary cover. And then we have High Republic number 6. And this is with Stellan Gios and Vernesta Rowe, who she's actually going to be in the live action show, The Acolyte.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of your first carryover.
I like his lightsaber. It's got that cool hilt to it. And is that a lightsaber whip that she has?
she builds that.
That's
because
cool.
she says like the other one doesn't quite fit.
Okay.
Like, she doesn't feel comfortable with it.
Okay.
There's a really good thing in this about back in the High Republic when their lightsabers were more elegant, but you learn why they start leaning away from that. It's because they have to build lightsabers faster.
Okay.
Because like Padawans are getting promoted quicker because they've got this big war to fight with the Nile.
Interesting.
And so they start like they're not as elegant anymore.
Yeah, okay.
So, but back then they had very cool like cross guards and everything.
Nice.
And then we also have, this is the one for Thrawn Alliances, number 4, which is also the final issue of this miniseries. And this one, of course, is with Ahsoka and Sabine, Master and Apprentice from Ahsoka. And this is also just a super cool cover. This is the Federico Sabatini variant.
Next is TMNT number 150, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the last issue of this long-running IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series. Last issue before Jason Aaron comes in and launches a new TMNT series, as well as some other TMNT-related books that they've announced.
Is it going to be renumbered to number 1?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Renumber. But the continuity, it's not a reboot.
Yeah.
The continuity that these 150 issues have established will carry on into the new book. So it's not resetting anything. It's just renumbering and going in a new direction, I guess. But all the continuity is still in place. In this one, Donatello has been searching his future self to understand how he can fight Armageddon. And he'll race to his past to convene with his future, but can he get there and learn what he needs to do in time to save his brothers? So yeah, last issue. So this is our A cover. We have a Campbell and Eastman cover, and then there is a Lonergan variant as well.
Yeah, this is a double-sided with just like all the characters.
Everybody, yeah.
Okay, next up we have Void Rivals. This is Void Rivals number 8. This is the Fran Gallen variant, and really excited to see this one with that new character,
Proximus.
Yeah. Going to be hunting our main characters. Yeah. So don't miss this. Void Rivals just started back up this week.
It's really good, too.
Yeah, I can't wait for more. So, yeah, really cool variant.
This is Batman number 146. This is part 2 of the Dark Prison story arc that just kicked off this week. but still part of that much larger Zur-En-Aw story that Ships Darcy's been telling for a while. In this one, Dr. Capsio, who we've seen in the last couple issues, one of Batman's former mentors who taught him how to utilize his brain more efficiently. He tells Batman what Zur-En-Aw's plans are for Gotham City and for the world, and what does the Joker have to do with all of it. So questions will be answered in this issue. Hopefully,
answers will be questions.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our Yasmin Putri variant, and then there's a Jim Lee Artist Spotlight variant with the Gotham by Gaslight Batman. Yeah, very cool.
Okay, next up we got Birds of Prey number 8. We're kind of getting into a new story arc with these issues. Vixen has joined the Birds of Prey to help them get to the bottom of the mysterious villain hunting them through time. So really cool in there. We've got this Derek Chu variant with Black Canary, and we have the Jim Lee Artist Spotlight with Big Barda.
This is Shazam number 10. This is the cool Miguel Mercado foil variant. It doesn't look foil there, but it will be foil when it hits the stores. Billy's home was just, oh, and I want to mention too, this is by a new creative team. So this was Mark Waid and Dan Moore for a long while. But they have left to go do the Absolute Power event coming later this year. So this is actually written by Josie Campbell, and the art is by Emanuele Lupacino. Last issue, or the issue before maybe, Billy's home was destroyed in his fight with Black Adam. So he has hired the gods that give him his powers to rebuild his house. But when it's all done, what will he and his family, what will they see? What will they experience when they enter their new home? In the A cover, there's like portals and dinosaurs and weird things. So it should be really cool. But yeah, we want to show you this really cool foil variant.
Next up, we got graphic novels and more. We've got a lot of like reprints, all that fun stuff, and some cool collected editions. Starting off with Ultimate Black Panther #1 third printing by Peach Momoko. You've got even Storm there on the cover for this one. And issue #2 comes out next week that we'll be going over on Monday. And we also have Ultimate Spider-Man #1 fourth printing, which is the Chichetto variant for that one, which is I believe the last page from #1.
That's right. Just with the texture move, yeah. This is all right. So we've got some various reprints for Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. So this is issue #1. They're calling this the final printing. So if you haven't gotten it by now and you want to get the single issues, this is your last chance to do so. At least unless you can still find copies. So this is the #1 final printing. This is the #2 final printing, the #3 final printing, and the #4 final printing. And those are all connecting variants.
I like that Green Lantern in the corner. It's
yeah.
Cool. Okay, next up, we've got a lot in the Transformers universe. We've got Transformers #1 fifth printing, which is super cool. We've got Transformers #2 fourth printing. We've got Transformers #3 third printing. Transformers #4 second printing, and this is the 2 by Jason Howard. So we've got the Megatron and Jazz.
Jazz, yeah. I love those. I wish I had been getting all of these.
Yeah.
They have these for Duke and Cobra Commander in this style. I wish I had gotten all of them because they're so cool, yeah. And then this is the X-Men #130 Facsimile edition, this issue being the first appearance of Dazzler. A lot of speculation about Dazzler maybe showing up in Deadpool and Wolverine later this summer. I don't know that for sure, but it does seem a little suspect that they're releasing this just a couple months before that movie comes out. But Facsimile edition, all the ads and everything, and again, first appearance of Dazzler.
I think there's a foil of this one too, like they do with those. So this would be nice for foil because of her powers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next up, we've got Identity Crisis 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. It's crazy that this is the 20th anniversary of Identity Crisis. This is by Brad Meltzer and Rags Morales. If you've never read this, it's a very different Crisis in the DC Universe, and I really like this one. It's a little divisive. Some people, it's not super action-packed, but when there is a murder of not one of the heroes, but one of the regular people who is very close to the Justice League that gets killed, it really throws a shadow over the Justice League as they search for who is the killer. And because of this, a long-held secret by members of the Justice League, but only some of them come out and the other ones learn about it. And Yeah, it sets up quite a story that even comes after this with some of the characters. But if you've never read Identity Crisis, it is a very mature storytelling.
Yeah, the
Uh,
themes are very, very mature. Yeah.
yeah, but very, very good. And this is going to have commentary by the creators, the original script, and never before seen gallery art by Rags Morales. This is our regular cover, Michael Turner, and then we have a direct market exclusive Rags Morales variant.
And then this is the Grimm Deluxe Edition slipcase hardcover. So this is going to be $79.99. This is going to collect Grimm number 1 through 15. Really cool series. I like this a lot. There also is a hardcover without the slipcase. I think it's like $10 cheaper. But we just wanted to show you this. They did these for
Something's Killing Children.
Something's Killing the Children and the Dan Mora one, Once in Future.
Yeah. These are very popular.
Yeah. Nice, big. They're oversized, nice, thick hardcovers, and this is the one with the slipcase, which is always really nice.
That is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you for watching. Remember to head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can pre-order these books we talked of. Plus, check out all the other stuff that is on there that maybe we didn't mention, but still a lot of other good stuff. So head over there, do your pre-orders. It helps all of us out know exactly what people want. And make sure you don't miss out on any of the things. Everything you pre-order, you get 10% off of, whether you're come and pick up your books in store or if you get them mailed to you. Either way, you get 10% off everything that you pre-order. And if you don't have an account, it's super easy to go on there and set one up, and you'll have books coming to you right away.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for our show coming up on Monday. We'll be going over some of the books that are coming out that week. Some really good ones coming up. We've got Thundercats #2. We've got Ultimate Black Panther #2. There's a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, it seems like there was 4 that we're both reading, which those are usually the biggest ones. So yeah, lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, don't miss out on that. And if you stayed till the end of the show, leave us a...
Oh yeah.
What's... a bird for Rook.
Yeah, leave us
a little Geiger skull.
Yeah. Wait, there's a Geiger skull emoji? Oh yeah, the skull. The skull, yeah.
Yeah, leave us those. Maybe an emoji for whichever one of those 3 you're most excited for the Geiger universe. Redcoat, just a guy with a red shirt.
I can see all the comments would be filled with like little birds and then the skull, and it'd be like, what's all these dead birds, you know?
But yeah, let us know which one you're most excited about, or you can just type it out in the comments.
Yeah,
We'd love to read those too. But until next time,
see ya.